Good evening. Welcome to the Late Night Show in Chandler, Arizona. I'm your host, Anthony DeFranco, and tonight we have a special guest, your very own son from Chandler, if you will, Julian Vidal. And he has put an interesting group of financiers together to actually buy out the movie rights, outbid several other studios on the wonderful classic, Where the Red Fern Grows. So help me welcome our guest and Chandler resident, Julian Vidal. Julian, come on in.
Nice to meet you. Glad to be here.
Nice to meet you. Grab a seat. So, big couple days lately, right?
Yeah.
So I heard you're not able to talk about all the intricacies, but you were able to outbid some of the big movie studios for the rights to this movie.
Yeah, I did. It cost a lot of money, but it was worth it.
Well, pretty exciting. Well, listen, thank you for being here. So, for some of the folks who might have, it's been a few years, right, since some of us have read Where the Red Fern Grows. But tell me a little bit about the story, and tell me about this main character, Billy.
Well, Billy, it took place in the Ozark Mountains in Oklahoma.
And what time frame was this?
This kind of around the Great Depression, where a lot of people didn't have enough money. The salaries just weren't all that great. So,
Kind of like a few years ago, huh? No,
yeah.
Please continue.
All right. Well, like every boy in his life, he might have had this, this wanting of a dog. Well, Billy, he kind of had a different. He didn't want just any regular old run-of-the-mill dog. What he wanted was 2 red-blood coonhound dogs. And, well, since it is the Great Depression, his parents couldn't give it to him, so...
So, hold on, let me ask you a question. So,
okay.
So how did he get the money for these dogs? Because they're precious, 1930s, this was a tough time.
Yeah. Well, one day he was on the campground, and he found this ad. It was for 2 red hound dogs for $50, $25 each.
Oh, and that's a lot of money for a young kid today, let alone back in the Depression. That's big. That's pretty big time.
It is. So, and it just took him 2 years, just to come up with that money. And how he made that money? Well, that's pretty fascinating because in the spring, what he did was he would collect vegetables, fruits, minnows, and he would sell it to the campers or fishers or hunters for any price they wanted. It could be 5 to 10 cents. Mm-hmm. And every day he could come up with at least 12 cents, maybe even none. Mm-hmm. And it took him 2 years. So that's pretty amazing. He
really stayed focused. I mean, I love that piece of the story because it helps tell a story, teach a lesson to young kids to work hard, stay focused if there's something you want. And it doesn't come easy, right?
No, it does not.
So, what's interesting, because it reminds me when I read the book years ago, I mean, and this piece I forget, so help me, how did he come up with those names for the dogs?
Well, that's really interesting. So,
remind me, what are the names of the dogs?
It's Old Dan and Little Ann.
Old Dan and Little Ann, I love it.
Yeah. So, when he came back from the depot from Tahlequah, it was about 30 miles from where he lived.
Oh, is there a town outside of the area he lived in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, when he came back from the depot, he had come back to the campground where he found the ad. And he was just trying to think of a name for the dogs.
Sure.
And this is very fascinating because when he looked up to the sycamore tree right next to it, there carved in the tree was Dan and Ann in a heart.
Interesting. Okay. Good. I forgot about that piece. Thank you. So, there's other characters in the book.
Yes.
And one of them's Reuben. Can you tell me a little bit about Reuben and how his role in the book, and a little bit about that relationship between him and Billy?
Well, Reuben, he was a kind of mean boy. He kind of wanted to always pick a fight. And one day, Rainey, his brother, had to always...
Whose brother?
Reuben's brother.
Okay.
His name was Rainey. He kind of always wanted to make a bet. And one of his bets well, back where they lived, there's this ghost coon.
ghost coon.
Yeah, it got the name because all the coon dogs they just couldn't catch it.
Ah, okay.
Because every time when they tree it, it would just disappear into nowhere. They couldn't find it. So Rainy bet that he couldn't catch the ghost coon. So when he came there, it was he didn't know what he was doing. Well, Billy was, but he was able to find the coon. But for some strange reason, he just couldn't have the heart to kill the coon. He just couldn't kill it, and
so there was a lot of conflict between
Yeah.
Billy and Reuben.
There was.
Betting, maybe a little bit antagonizing and bullying. So there's also some religious themes in this, isn't there?
there is quite a few.
Can you name me one?
Sure, just one of the few is that so this is like the first hunt. Like after he's got the ducks, he's trained them. This is the first hunt. And he promised his dogs that if they could tree the coon, he would just do the rest. He would chop the tree down. He would get the coon.
So he would chop the tree down.
Yeah, because he didn't have a gun.
Hold on, isn't this like a big monster, crazy big tree?
It is because when the dogs tree the coon, it's in this massive tree.
But I don't understand. How does that bring in religious themes? I'm not following.
Well, he made a promise to his dogs and he wanted to keep it. So he's chopping down the tree, and it takes him 2 to 3 days just to cut almost about 3/4 of it. And he's tired. All the power from it is just drained, and he can't do it. His hands just have blisters. He can't do it. So he prays to God to give him the strength just to chop down the tree. And with that being said, this wind comes out of nowhere and blows down the tree.
Wow. So I think for a lot of young readers, there's probably a lot of similarities with Billy and themselves that they can draw on.
Yeah.
And so, did you see any similarities between you and Billy?
Quite a few, but the main one that stuck out.
Yeah. Tell me the one that sticks out. And by the way, kid, let me ask the questions. This is my show, you know? Come on.
Okay.
Oh, please, but go ahead.
All right. Well, when I was about 6 years old.
Okay, when you were about 6 years old.
Yeah, about 6. I never really been able to swim. I couldn't even swim a lap. And I was trying out for the swim team. But when I was swimming, I was halfway. I was doing pretty good. But around halfway, all the power was just drained from my body. I just couldn't like swim in just one more stroke.
So halfway through, your body's tired. You're aching.
Because I'm not used to this.
Yeah. Okay.
But with all the energy I can summon through my body, I was able to persevere and finish it, and I was able to enter the swim team because of that.
So help me tie these two together.
Yeah.
What are the similarities between this and Billy?
Well, since we already mentioned about the giant tree, we'll go to that one. Billy showed perseverance, hardship, determination.
Yeah. And so you
just
showed
to chop down that tree.
And so you showed that same determination in the pool, halfway through, body's tired.
Yes,
but not the heart, right?
Yes.
A lot like Billy.
Yeah,
Good.
but not as halfway as he did. No.
Yeah. Took him 2 days.
Two
I don't know.
days.
Did it take you 2 days to go? 4
No,
months?
it did not take me 2 days to do that.
I'm just kidding. Good. Well, listen. So, this is a tough book. I mean, there's a lot of lessons to be learned. I love the message that it sends. But at the end, I mean, tell me a little about Dan and Ann and what happened to them. What was their fate?
Well, this was right after he won the championship. He was still hunting, but one night, this was very different. Instead of them actually trying to tree a coon, Billy, he had been actually trying to chase a mountain lion.
Mm-hmm.
But Billy didn't know that. He thought it was just like a bobcat, so he just let it go.
So the two dogs, the two hounds
Yeah.
are chasing this mountain lion. Okay.
And when they treat the mountain lion, that's when Billy finds out that it's actually a mountain lion. And knowing that it's a very strong, ferocious animal, he just wanted to get out of there. Little Ann, having more sense than Old Ann, she came willingly. But Old Ann, he just wouldn't. He wouldn't go. And something out of the nowhere, he actually challenged the mountain lion to a fight. And of course, the mountain lion accepted it. But they won the fight, but at a very high cost. Because Old Dan, he had cuts all over him. He was losing blood. So Billy, he wanted to get him back to the house.
Yeah.
But it was too late. He had lost too much blood, and he died.
Wow. So So that's the ending, huh? Or it's towards the end. And what happened to Anne?
Well, sorry, it's a little sad, but little Anne, losing her companion, her sidekick in a way.
Yeah, no, her companion, her lifetime companion.
She just lost the will to live because Old Anne had been with her for like her whole entire life.
Yeah, so she lost the will to live. So I can see it. It's a very powerful story for you. So are you planning? I mean, so you're the big producer for this show.
Of course.
You did some big financing. Are you going to do maybe any cameo shots in this movie? Like any acting spots for you?
No, because I'm going to stick what I do best, and that's producing the movie.
Okay. And
that's all I'm going to do.
Well, great. Well, listen, thank you for your time. You told a great story. I felt like I was there. Will you stick around for a little bit after the commercial? Come back, and we'd love to hear more, okay?
Sure.
Great. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate it. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Bye.